right, I have invited a couple of my very dear advisor friends to speak with you today on a couple of topics. And I think the very first speaker that I'm so honored is here is Rose Boguslavsky. Did I say that right? Yes. Yay! And Rose is all the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba. And Rose and I met online through our Canadian Facebook page when we were both tracking for Savannah. So we never met in person until we were in Savannah. And Rose and I found out that we had very similar life paths, and we had very similar business paths. And when we came home from Savannah, we continued to chat online and became very, very dear friends, I think.
Yes, absolutely, you're right.
And we became pacing partners. So when I had a question in my business and I needed some sound advice, because sometimes I have crazy ideas, I would message Rose and she would message me back. So Rose is going to talk to you about the value in finding a pacing partner.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm from a little tiny town just outside of Winnipeg, and Tammy does not have crazy ideas. Maybe she's a little crazy, but her ideas are not crazy. I'm going to talk to you about something that's become very important to me in businesses that I have been in, direct selling businesses, but of course in Creative Memories especially, because we develop relationships that I believe are unique to Creative Memories. So who knows what a pacing partner is? Okay, this is exciting. I have some great stuff to share with you. Who has a pacing partner? Oh man, this is a clean slate. This is awesome. I didn't know what a pacing partner is, and a pacing partner is someone who helps you along with your business. They're the person that picks you up when you're down and needs your help when they're down. And when I mean down is like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Should I continue? That's what a pacing partner is. Someone who helps you with a goal. So when you set a goal, I've learned through Creative Memories that when you have a goal, you need to write it down and say it out loud. Because if you do not, you're not accountable, because it's just up here. No one knows about it. So when I set a goal, I've learned lately to print out the sheet, put it on my fridge. Before it used to just be in my office, but now I actually put it on my fridge so that I can see and my family sees. So they watch, I mark down. And a goal can be something as simple as attaining 3 people at a crop. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself. I've been using Creative Memories products for 22 years. I've been hosting workshops for about 18 years. I've been with CM for those 18 years with a little away time for 2 years. And that was when we saw a change. I'm absolutely thrilled with the new CM. I think it has a business model that anyone can follow. And when I say business, it could be just you. It could be a large group. It could be a group that you're sharing with someone. When people say business, they get panicked, like, I have to grow. Yeah, you do want to grow, but it can happen very easily as well. I do hold monthly crops. I hold a Scrappers Club every month. I have weekend retreats, and I participate in vendor shows. But I've been working on this for a while, and my business has grown slowly. One of the reasons my business has grown is because I've used pacing partners. I met my first pacing partner on my first CM trip. I didn't even know what that was. Actually, we were pacing, but I didn't know that's what she was my pacing partner. We met in Monterey Bay in California. And anytime we wanted to work on something, we would work on a trip together. So we've earned a number of trips together. Like, you know what a pacing partner now is. It's someone that you can share a goal with, and they can coach you on the way. So we did that with Savannah. Tammy and I have paced for that trip, and that was really important because she would send me messages. She had earned the trip quite a bit before me, and she would send me messages and say, I can't be the only Canadian. Like, Canadians get Canadians, right? So, she didn't want to be by herself, so I thought, well, I better earn the trip. It wasn't that easy, but it was very helpful. So what do you look for in a pacing partner? You look for someone, you can have many pacing partners, but you look for someone who has like ideas. And like Tammy said, we have very paralleled in our life as well as in our business. We have very similar sides to business. We run our businesses very similar, and that is very helpful. My first pacing partner was actually an item. It was an item that Creative Memories sent as an incentive to earn a trip to Monterey Bay. It was a little sand timer that you flipped. And as you flipped the timer, it said, imagine the possibilities. And I got that in the mail when I was meeting my friend for lunch in California. And that little piece was why I earned the trip. I didn't have a pacing partner then. And we would make a joke. We thought, we're going to recruit our goldfish, our dog, our moms, our grandmas, but I'm going and really we did it by hard work and honesty. But we were joking about that. No matter how I have to do this, I'm going to do this. So your pacing partner can be someone who's very much like you, or someone who's very different than you. So I have a pacing partner in Oregon that I met on that first trip. And she had a business of 250 consultants on her team. Her business was completely different, and it's completely different today as well. But we rely on each other for different things. So she has a strong, her strong suit for me is telling you to take the high road. That's the ultimate on a bad time. She'll say take the high road. So I do appreciate her for that. So look for a pacing partner who has a similar business, a similar goal. Where do you look for them? This is where you look for them. That's why I'm really not a fan of sitting friends together, because you're never really going to get outside of that zone unless you're actually sitting with someone that you don't really know and see if have like ideas. We like to scrapbook with our buddies, right? So a place like this, you go somewhere like California, didn't know a soul, met some friends that I've been friends with for 17 years. So a place like this where you network, spend some time talking, sitting with different people at lunch, finding someone who has similar goals. How many? As many as you need. As many pacing partners that you need for different goals that you may have. So it might be that you're looking to grow your business. It might be that you're looking to earn an incentive. It might be that you're just trying to run a crop and you've met someone here that has monthly crops. How did they do that? How did they build their business? How did they advertise? What did they do? Is it elaborate? Is it very basic? Your business is what you want it to be, but it can be more if you choose to. And if you find someone that can help you with that, that's a great benefit for you. So of course there's the trips that you can get, the friendships. We can't talk enough about that. Anyone who has been working their Creative Memories business to a small degree knows that you make great friendships, and they will last a lifetime.
So the next person I would like to introduce is my very good friend, Krista Taylor. We were talking about how long has it been since I've known her, and we decided it's been 8 years. So Krista has been a Creative Memories advisor for 8 years, and she has just recently joined my team. She has had, and since then, she has had some amazing growth. So she's going to talk to you a little bit on growth.
So it is my honor to be here this morning, be able to talk to all of you, because you're already so creative and you have so many great ideas, and we're all passionate about the same thing, and that's it's a really it's a privilege to be able to speak. Of all the topics, I thought I could speak about growth was not at the top of my list. But in the last 7 months, my business has changed, and I'm going to cover a little bit of how that's come to be. I returned to CM when it came to Canada on May 31st, 2015. I would like to celebrate my 3rd anniversary with the Better Than Ever company. It was worth the wait for CM product and to come back to Canada and in Canadian funds. So I had to think seriously about how I had accomplished the growth that I've experienced in the last 7 or so months. After the company's support, my growth comes from a more personal spot. In October, I started the process to change up lines, which Tammy kind of alluded to. This was not an easy decision, nor was it an easy process in my case, but it was the right one. I needed to be on an active team. As a result, my business has grown more than I could ever have imagined. In addition, I am now proud to have increased my downline since February from 1 advisor to 5. My sales are fantastic, my confidence in what I'm doing has increased, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So how have I done that? So I've just shared CM with those who are interested. I'm not a pushy salesperson, and I don't like pushy salespeople, so I try to make sure that I have the impression they actually want to hear about the business plan. And being on an active team provides the right amount of challenge and confidence that I need. We support each other, we inspire each other, and we share. I didn't realize how much I needed an active team until I moved over to Tammy's leadership with Team Prop Girls. And I feel like I'm at home. I didn't realize how much I missed the active team component that I had in vintage CM. And for both my personal projects and my business, it was the right thing to do, and I feel like I have a great sounding board when I need it. As well as being a part of a larger team, I have accountability, and this is a little bit of what Rose also talked about. I have Tammy as a pacing partner. In addition, I've challenged myself to hit specific targets and goals. I have those cards printed, and they're pinned to my bulletin board, so I see them every day. For the targets and goals for my business, so far I've hit every one of them except for one this year, and it's only May, and the other one won't be happening because I was going to host my own National Scrapbook Day. So I think I have to change that to Croptoberfest now. So as for growth in my sales, it's been interesting because I can't hold crops or workshops in my home. I don't have the space, and what I do have is monopolized by an industrious 3-year-old. But I do take the opportunity to share CM at community crops. They're usually fundraisers in St. Thomas. And there I bring my A game. I'm also a big believer in that I can't sell something I don't know anything about. I feel that I know a lot about the scrapbook industry in general, and I understand what my community needs from me in St. Thomas. But I make a point to use the product. I participate in challenges when I can, whether they're team-based, personal-based, or CM home office encouraged. And I post my creations to my Facebook page, my business Facebook page. I want my customers to see what can be done. I want them to know I use the product too, or that I don't just sell it. So all of this together has paid off to grow my business. I've had to start looking at it as a business. To start thinking about paying myself for a change, even if it's just in paying my product purchases. But ultimately, this is a business for me, and that's what I choose to do with CM. Otherwise, I'd be running a not-for-profit, and I'd be everybody's really best good friend because they'd be getting so much of a great deal. It was great in February when my husband told me that I was about to break even. That included customer purchases of my own, and he was impressed, so it gives you an idea of how often that happens. But there are so many rewards to being in this industry. I get to be a part of other people's lives, as all of you do too, where they are celebrating and treasuring some of the most important memories and mementos of their life. I'm being brought into their world to help them create, and that's a pretty humbling experience. I also have to admit that when I was at my home office to participate in the worldwide virtual crop this April, that totally blew me away. The fact that I had made it onto someone's radar to have my name put forward, that was just amazing, and it was so much fun. To have the business I created, I couldn't have done it without my husband and his encouragement, love, and paycheck. And my new upline, Tammy, and our team that are amazing for ideas, advice, and support. And of course, my customers who keep those orders coming in and sharing the CM love. And my darling daughter is also to thank, because without her, I'd have so few photos to put in albums. But because of her, doing what I do is that much more meaningful. She helps to put into perspective on a regular basis just why I do what I do. So I'm not exactly sure how to conclude this, but I will. But except that you too can grow your business. You don't have to be pushy. You just have to love what you're doing. Have the support out there that you need. If you don't have it, you need to look for it. You need to make the changes to get it. And that's what I did. If you just want to be a hobbyist advisor, that's awesome, because you're still doing what you love to do. And ultimately, the goal is to make these albums, to share our photos, and that is so important. Each time we make a page, we're preserving something that's important to us or somebody else. And there's not too many. That's a pretty great way to share our lives. So, thank you, ladies.
Okay, so my name is Shelley. I'm from New Hamburg. And when Tammy asked me a couple weeks ago if I would do this, my mouth said yes, and then afterwards my brain said, why'd you say yes? Because I hate talking in front of people. Anyways, I will do it for Tammy and for you guys. Just a little introduction. My husband actually was the one to introduce me to Creative Memories back in 1998. I didn't really even know anything about it, but he was sitting beside a lady in night class, and he maybe mentioned it was my birthday. Good consultant. She sold him a whole crap load of stuff. And he gave it to me, and I was like, what is this stuff for? So anyways, that was back in 1998. And then in 2002, I decided to sign up as a consultant because we had moved south of Tillsonburg to a country property. He was starting as associate pastor, and I had 4 little kids by this time, and I wanted something to do other than be a mom, I guess. And so then I also looked at it as a time to be able to have crops in my home, so that when he was out in the evening and the kids were in bed, I would have something to do. And having people coming to my home gave me that sort of excuse to have fun. Oh, you guys are so funny.
We love Shelley!
So it gave me the excuse to have people in my home and share creative memories with them. And anyways, these are two of my downline, and I have another one over there. I love you guys too. So I started having crops in my home right away. I like to try to keep them fairly simple. Part of that is because I have a lot going on in my home. I don't really have the time. I don't know how Tammy finds the time to do all these extras all the time, but I do little extras that people really appreciate. So like I said, I have 4 kids, 15, 17, 19, and 20. How old they are now. And when you have crops in your home, you kind of have to get over the fact that it's maybe not always clean and tidy. I mean, it's usually clean, but it's not always tidy, especially when they can't come home from something while you're having a crop and they dump everything on the kitchen floor. So, I've gotten over that a long time ago. The ladies, they don't usually care. They don't even really notice because they're coming to have fun and to work on their pictures.
And so what I'm speaking about is what works for me, but you may find something else that works better for you. As my CM team grew, it became a natural extension of my business to join forces with my advisors and run larger events jointly. And I had especially a team member who was very good at the wow factor, and she was the fine detail person for displays and little personal touches. I am more the setup person, the organizer, the think ahead person. So we complemented each other with our strengths. So think about what each does best and what your strengths are and spread out the workload. It is a great way to offer a larger event to your customers without having to do it all on your own. There is strength in numbers, there really is. And it takes some of the stress out of running an event because you have others who are also taking responsibility. Don't be afraid to charge for your time. That was the biggest thing I've learned, is that I need to charge for the time it takes to do all these things. You need to be compensated for your added work, costs, and time put into an event. And if you look online and you type in Memories Manor or any of these places where our customers are going, they are spending upwards of $500 for a weekend away. So do not be afraid to charge them, because you are providing a service for them. You need to make money from that, and you need to earn money from the fees. You can certainly earn your commission from your inventory, but I have found that just relying on sales income is not enough to compensate me for my time spent getting ready for some of my larger events. And I don't feel bad about that. They will go and pay a stranger over $500 to go for a weekend. So why can't I earn that money? And I just have to provide something that they want to be at. You need to earn the right for them to be there. Many of our clients are looking for larger events to attend. This is a way to offer that to them and to still maintain an all Creative Memories event if you want, and think about how you can expand what you already offer. So some of the advantages of the multi-advisor events: it takes the pressure off of one consultant having to do everything. It gives you more leeway as far as doing what you love about the business, because there's always something that we love to do that makes it feel like we're not working. And so you find the person that loves to do the things you don't like, and it draws on the strengths of many. It gets your business out of your home and into the public eye. And don't be afraid to ask someone with whom you have a working relationship already to host an event with you. You might be surprised just how rewarding it is to have someone share the responsibility and fun with you. You might even find that person sitting here this weekend.
So for those of you hosting small events in your basement once a month or once every 2 months, listen to what Joyce has to say. She is the event planner extraordinaire, and I can use a few tips from Joyce for sure. So I'm going to hand the mic over to her.
Well, thank you, Tammy. You told half of my speech, and I've only got 5 minutes anyway, because we're running behind. As she said, I've scrapbooked with Creative Memories for over 20 years. And I joined in late July when I counted up how many albums I would like to finish up. I haven't started some that I really would like to do. There was an incentive that I really wanted, and I was told I couldn't get it unless I joined. So I joined, and anyway, who doesn't like a discount on their purchases? In August, I invited 2 close friends to come to a project recipe night. I also knew of 2 women that had just returned from a European trip, and I asked them what were they doing with their photos. Oh, they didn't know. So I suggested they come to the project recipe night, and they did. So now I got 4 people. And I was really surprised that I could get 4 people to come. I had never done a project recipe, so that was new to me. We all did it together. In October, I held Croptoberfest with these 4 ladies. And again, presenting the project recipe, which I think is great, and a mag can take. And these projects are all held in my basement, which is not very roomy. I have a friend, though, who is 87 years old, and this point in her life does not feel that she wants to scrapbook. She's never had any children or grandchildren, and she just doesn't take pictures anymore. But she loves to make cards. She joins us when I have a card club. She also likes to try the new tools out, too. The first of the year, I decided I would have a monthly workshop. And I love theme events. So on my birthday month, I decided to have Cake My Day. And there we had birthday decorations, birthday paper plates and serviettes and little hats. And I also served my birthday cake with no candles. These extras for my crops are really easy to obtain. The dollar store is wonderful. And I incorporate the cost in my fee. So it's not really too expensive. Monthly crops help keep the interest going, and not only the scrapbooking, but showing and demonstrating the new products as it comes out. And as Tammy said, I have reached level 3 in 6 months' time. I didn't know how far out beyond that. So let me tell you about my National Scrapbook Day. I advertised National Scrapbook Day through Creative Memory Events at head office. I received an email from a woman who I had no idea who she was, and I didn't know whether I should open it, whether this was a scam or not. Anyway, she was interested in coming to my National Scrapbook Day. She asked me my cost and where was it held. So I emailed back and I told her what she had asked. I also told her a little bit about myself, how long I had scrapbooked with CM all this time, and said that I had 4 to 6 customers, but I certainly could make room for one more person. So she came. Well, she blew me away because she is a CM scrapbooker, true and true. She come in with the rolling tote. She opened it. It was all creative memories. I was so surprised. I said, "Are you an advisor?" She said, "Oh, no." I said, "Do you have an advisor?" Well, she quit 2 years ago. So I'm thinking, how is she getting this stuff? I asked her, and she said she orders through Creative Memories website. So I asked if she would consider ordering through me or my website. And Monday afternoon, she placed a $150 order. Which I was so shocked and surprised and thankful. I sent her an email, and I also sent her a thank you card. Hosting in my home is a great way to maintain active customer group where I can focus on building a relationship with my girls and help them with their products and share new ideas as well as the new products and treat them to a special day. You see, even a hobbyist scrapbooker can slowly work their way up, even if it is one person at a time. I have not signed anyone yet to join. I present this every month, but everybody asks questions, and then they'll say, "Oh, I'm not interested." But maybe someday, like me, they will find the incentive that they can't live without. Thank you very much.
But the biggest thing I do is I encourage my customers and people I meet everywhere just to print their pictures. They don't necessarily have to scrapbook them, but just print them. Computers fail, phones die, and hard drives crash. My sister has lost over 10,000 photos when her hard drive crashed. Yeah, I can't even imagine if that happened to me. My hard drives currently have almost 100,000 photos because I take pictures of everything. But I know that if anything happened to my computers, I would still have my scrapbooks. And that if my customers printed their pictures, at least all would not be lost. So as Tammy said, this year has been a bit of a change for me. In December, with the release of the Imagine product line, I reached level 4. I'm still not sure how that happened. I have a relatively small market compared to Ontario and Alberta, but I make the most of it. I can name off all 12 advisors that are in Newfoundland and Labrador. 4 of them are my downline. So after the hustle and bustle of Christmas, I decided I wanted to be a part of a team again. It was something that I felt that I was missing. And I thought to maintain level 4, I would need a bit of encouragement and help to do that. And that's when I contacted Tammy. And since I had already signed up under home office, the switch was pretty easy. Our first phone conversation lasted over 2 hours. Thank God for free long distance on our cell phones. And it's been great being a part of the team again. We encourage and support each other every day, and the distance doesn't matter. Anytime I have a question, Tammy is there, or somebody else on my fabulous team page is also there. And when we have exciting news, like being asked to create a layout for the worldwide virtual crop, Tammy was my sounding board and let me hyperventilate over Messenger and kept me grounded. That's what I knew I had been missing, and I'm so glad to have found it in this group. Recently, I started a Facebook group called Opportunities NL, and here I encourage everybody to share any scrapbooking event that they are hosting, or even attending. If they know of something, I'm like, post it. And whenever I'm scrapbooking at home, and that can be pretty frequently, I post it on there. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and both of my kids are at school, so I invite anybody and everyone to join me any day during the week. I'll post when I'm most likely going to be scrapbooking, or at least when I can't scrap. And my door is always open. I usually get 2 to 3 of the girls during the week, and that's fine for me. It's a free crop, and everybody brings their own lunch. I also started doing some Saturday crops at my house as well, and my girls love it. I can usually fit 6 people, and it is as no frills can get. There's no charge for this either. It's usually from 1 o'clock until the last person goes home. The girls help themselves to coffee, tea, and soft drinks, and are now actually quite familiar with my kitchen and know where everything is. My rule is, when you come into my house the first time, I will show you where things are. The second time, you can ask. The third time, you are on your own. So, step out of your comfort zone. Create a Facebook group and share everything. Your crop dates, pages you've completed, and inspire them to get pictures printed and into scrapbooks. My business so far is off to a fantastic start this year. In fact, I think this month I'm getting $120.
You are.
So excited. First time.
So what does that mean? How much were your sales then?
My sales right now are $24.33.
Yes.
While you were talking today, I had posted a picture of the Lumberjack album. I just put the first picture, and somebody wants me to order a Lumberjack album.
Nice.
So I'm like, yay! So, where am I? I've lost count. I'm here at Crop Connect with all of you guys, and finally getting to meet my fabulous upline Tammy and all the ladies on my team. I get to host National Scrapbook Day in 2 weeks, which I'm so not ready for yet. And I have Sandra Northmore coming to visit me. Plus then, she's spending 2 more days with me so I can show her around. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see where it all goes from here.
I just wanted to, of course, Tammy is our host advisor for this weekend Crop and Connect. So Tammy worked with Home Office to create this event, and you saw all the Tammyisms, I call them, from the little cookies to the little Crop and Connect package that you can use in your albums. She has added some fantastic little features for us. Tammy McEwen has a phenomenal team, and she holds regular meetings. She's got a very active business, and she actually knocked it out of the ballpark in 2017 when she worked towards earning Savannah. She earned Savannah easily, came home from Savannah, was so inspired, continued to recruit and build her business, and has just had huge success. So without anything further, here's Tammy.
Sandra alluded to a little bit about my business, but it may go, you may be surprised at my business. And I celebrated National Scrapbook Day for the very first time 20 years ago when Creative Memories launched the very first National Scrapbook Day. And I started scrapbooking started that day, National Scrapbook Day, in my consultant's home, in the basement. She had, a house full of women scrapbooking, but I was sitting at a card table beside the furnace. The noisy furnace, but for National Scrapbook Day, and I didn't care. I was out, I was having a day to myself, and I just loved scrapbooking so much that furnace going all day long didn't bother me one bit. I was enjoying some me time. I was enjoying working on my family photos, and it was just a craft that I felt was meaningful. It was something that we didn't have a big family budget, so it was something that I could do that was crafty, that I knew my money was going towards something that would last a lifetime. And those very first albums are still sitting on my shelf 20 years later, and the kids still pull them out and look at them. But it wasn't until 2005 that I decided to become a consultant. And I simply enjoyed helping people getting their photos into albums. And I did workshops in my basement with 4 or 5 women. And I think 2008, I decided to grow my business, and I promoted to unit leader in a very short time. In fact, Creative Memories then had told me that it was one of the fastest promotions in Canadian history to unit leader. And I did that by working with a pacing partner. So pacing partners are very important in your business. And since then, I've seen the scrapbooking industry change. My scrapbook style has changed, and Creative Memories has changed itself. And in 2013, when Creative Memories went through the struggle, I sent in my resignation because I was a unit leader and we had to resign. And I resigned my team and I resigned my commission, and I had a good long cry. For probably about 3 days. Because I so love Creative Memories. And I love my team, and I loved what I was doing. But I needed a break, so I took a break. But it wasn't long before I was hosting retreats, and then one of my previous customers called and said, Tammy, we need you to start doing your Saturday workshops again. We need a scrapbook. And so I said, well, I will host if you will come. And so I hosted, and they came. I opened my doors, I rented a hall, and they came. And they still are, which is kind of fun. And so I rejoined CM, the new CM, in August of 2015. And I was going to be a hobbyist advisor. And I was just going to host events in the community center and just have fun. Because I was working for 5 different companies at the time. And I didn't have time to work a business in addition to what I was already doing in my family and in the house. So I decided I was going to have fun with this new business. And as long as I was having fun, I would continue. So, absolutely. And one of the things that I love to do is host a crop, as you can tell. I love spoiling my customers, and because my customers are my friends, and I've watched their kids grow up and go to university and get married and have babies, and it's all through their scrapbooks. And in fact, I go out shopping and I'm thinking, I know you, but I really don't. I've just seen their picture a million times in a scrapbook. And so I hosted events and I had fun, and eventually, if Diana and Michelle and Linda could stand up, in May of last year, this was my team. In May of last year. And could everyone else stand up now? Since May, I have had a lot of fun. I have had so much fun with these ladies. But it's just sharing the opportunity and sharing your love and sharing your passion. And I think that's what these ladies have come to enjoy with my workshops and how we work together as a team. And I went totally off script. But it was an amazing fun-filled year, and I just can't imagine where I would be without my CM sisters. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that, because everything else really is nothing in comparison to the friendships we're making this weekend and the learning that we're doing on how we can build our businesses to help our customers and help our friends. And whether you're sitting at a table with, you know, just your best friend scrapbooking, or whether you're hosting an event with you know, 20, 30, 50 people, getting your photos into your albums is a very valuable craft that's going to stay with you forever. All right, that's it.